As part of our preparation for the webinar, let us have a little time to assess basic technical aspects so that we can be aware of any potential technical concerns beforehand. Please click the wow button if we can be heard and seen on your screen.
I also want to relay the simple rule that we have in this webinar, and that is to respect everyone that is with us today. And in order to attain a seamless discussion of the speakers, we also ask that you all keep your microphones muted from time to time. Many thanks to everyone.
Hello teachers and welcome to the most awaited webinar series entitled EDUKultura, Creating a Positive School Culture. I am Anatea Gaurano.
And I am Raylin Quiapo, your Masters of Ceremony.
You know what, teachers? We are so humbled to be your host for the second time around that we feel excited about giving our best shot to deliver the most exciting part of our program. Right, Teacher Rhea?
Indeed, partner, I am really invested in getting everyone to the most exciting part of our webinar. And to be honest, I had no idea that for me to do so would be this nerve-wracking and priceless. So I hope that everyone will stand back, relax, and enjoy the
I
webinar.
guess all of us are pumped up, Teacher Rhea. So let us now start our program with a prayer, which will be followed by National Anthem.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above, ye heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
That made us feel solemn. To continue on, I would like to introduce Ms. Shanny Bella Santos to deliver us the webinar's opening remarks.
Hi everyone, I'm Shandy Belen Santos and I wanted to greet everyone a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you all are safe and having an amazing day. Our webinar is entitled EDUKultura, Creating a Positive School Culture. So please join us, sit back and relax. From This time, we would appreciate if you all could focus and give us at least an hour or an hour and a half of your day so we could all explore different school culture and how it affects our learning process or how it could contribute to ourselves as an individual, not just in school, but also to the community we are living in. I also just want to remind everyone if you all are having any difficulties hearing us or with the video, please let us know. Chat it on the chat box so we could fix it for you guys so we could have a very smooth um, webinar for today. And before we could proceed to the actual webinar, I just wanted to give you a very, very quick reminder that always remember surrounding yourself with a positive culture not just enriches you as a student, but also as an individual. All right, so I won't waste any more of your time. Let's go ahead and proceed with our webinar.
All right, thank you, Ms. Shangi, for your motivational speech. And I truly appreciate Ms. Shangi's warm words, and I assume others share the same sentiments.
That is for sure, partner. And you know what? The most exciting part is getting closer and closer.
Right, we are getting near the most exciting part of the webinar that we can't afford to spare time. So without further ado, let's move on to the main session where we will hear from our two outstanding speakers about the significance of creating a positive school culture for teachers and the students.
She is pursuing Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English at Polytechnic University of the Philippines, where she consistently ranks on the president's list. When she was a senior high school, she also earned an honor award from Immaculate Conception Polytechnic. And for the second time, our first speaker will be us today to share her insightful knowledge on the topic. She is none other than teacher Maria Alexandra May Garcia.
Good day, everyone, and thank you so much for that introduction, Teacher Iya. Again, Teacher Rhea, again, I am Alex, and I am going to be the first speaker for today's webinar. I hope everyone's doing fine, though alam ko naman na marami pa tayong kailangan gawin para matapos yung SEM. So keep going, guys. And before we begin, let me just share my screen. So before we proceed to our discussion, let's have a system check first. Please click any heart emoji if you can see the screen I am sharing. Thank you. And I like react if you can hear me clearly and if you can see me at the upper part of your screen. All right, thank you again. And I'm sorry if you hear any background noises. So for our webinar, we'll discuss about creating positive school culture. And of course, we'll have the second part that will be discussed by Ma'am Blessy. But before we proceed, may simple question lang ako and you can type your answers on the chat box. So do you guys have any idea what is school culture? You can type it in the chat box. So someone sent me a DM. She said that school culture is the belief or practices that is accustomed to teachers and students. Thank you, and that's a nice idea. Pero we'll dig deeper as we go on to our discussion. So let me proceed to the next slide. So ang focus ng ating webinar today is, or ang focus ng first part ng ating webinar today is school culture, culture as social construct, school climate and school culture, and 4 ways to create a positive school culture. So what is school culture? So according to Dr. Kenty Peterson from University of Wisconsin-Madison, He said that school culture is the set of norms, values, and beliefs, rituals, and ceremonies, symbols, and stories that make up the persona of the school. So he also said that school culture is composed of traditions and ceremonies schools hold to build community and reinforce their values. So another definition from the module is it is a beliefs, perceptions, relationships, attitudes, and written and unwritten rules that shape and influence every aspect of how a school functions. So ang mga examples ito ay yung dress codes, kung may uniform ba, the discipline system, yung mga rules, celebrations, pwede dito yung mga founding anniversaries or yung yearly acquaintance parties and such ng isang specific school. So lastly, it also said that school culture is the character of the school that gives its qualities. So I'll give another definition of school culture later. So we have two types of school culture, the positive and negative school culture. So on this slide, I collected four positive and negative school culture. So of course, and then on the positive side, we can notice that it is all about trust, respect, and recognition dahil iyon naman talaga ang components ng isang school na nagpapakita ng positive school culture. But of course, kung may positive side, there are also negative at sadly, this happens but there are solutions on how to build a positive school culture. We will discuss it sa mga susunod na slides. So, culture as social construct. So it is said that school culture is something that we do not inherit or pass on through genes. So it is shaped by everything that all people in school see, hear, feel, and interact with. So sinabi rin dito na once you entered an institution or a classroom, you can already tell kung ano yung kultura na pinapractice doon. Kung safe place ba to for learning, or is it a sharing environment, open ba ito for constructive criticisms, or does it make you shrink? So it really tells. So kaya school culture is something na tayo rin ang gumagawa at humuhubog. Tayo mga students and teachers. So teachers, students in school, staffs, and of course the school head. So what's the difference between school climate and school culture? So these two are seldom or madalas silang nagagamit interchangeably. Kaya we'll classify its differences. So sa school climate, it is said that it is demonstrated by attitudes and behaviors of the school staff. School's effects on students, it is reflected in the daily interactions of staff, administration, faculty, students, and the outside community. So when we say school climate, kumbaga ito ay yung kung ano yung nararamdaman ng certain individual, student man to, or mga teachers kapag pumasok na sila sa loob ng school. Ito yung key factor why the students love the school or kung ano man yung individual experiences na nararamdaman ng mga students and other staff about the school. In simple terms, it mainly talks about the attitude and mood. So, ayun, attitude and mood. So, when we say school culture naman, it is a deeper level of reflection of shared values, beliefs, and traditions between staff members. The way staff members work together. So, when we say school culture naman, ito yung way ng teachers and other staffs on working together. Kasama na rin doon, syempre, yung beliefs, values, and traditions. Kung yung school climate is about attitude and mood, ang school culture naman is all about personality and values. And do take note that school culture is something that can only be altered. It can only be altered over a longer period of time dahil nga it encompasses traditions. So again, yung school climate is about attitude and mood, while the school culture is about personality and values. Next slide. So, school culture is considered as one of the most impactful contributors to how stakeholders perceive successful schools. So some aspects gaya na lamang noong students' achievements, effectiveness ng teachers, community support, etc. ay naapektuhan din ng school culture. That's why the module has provided 4 foundational ways on how to create a positive school culture. So the first one is the teacher leadership. So it is being intentional about teacher leadership opportunities. Being intentional about teacher leadership opportunities is fundamental to creating a culture of growth and opportunity. So with the use of trainings or programs na maaaring i-create ni school head, so syempre si school head pa rin ang magpa-facilitate ng mga programs sa ito na may kinalaman sa iba't ibang programs na makapagbibigay sa teachers ng opportunities to grow. Of course, this will create a good quality of teachers. Hindi lamang sa way of teaching, but of course, on being empowered. And ang pinaka-importante ay marunong tumanggap at magbigay ng feedback to each other. So it may be a criticism because they believe that it is one of the ways to grow and will eventually lead to a positive school culture. So according to Harris, opportunities that align with distributive leadership will most likely result in teachers feeling empowered and open to feedback. So ayun nga, mas nagkakaroon sila ng energy or mas open sila sa feedback kasi open sila to grow. And the next one is student opportunity. So the school head can strategically create opportunities for student leadership and seek out unique ways to engage students in non-traditional roles. So different clubs or organizations are said to be an effective way to enhance students' social skills. So one of the main focuses of a positive school culture is creating a student-centered environment. So we are aware sa K-12 curriculum na it should be student-centered. So that is why it is important to also give students the opportunity to grow. Syempre not only academically, but also with extracurricular activities, as it is also a way to hone their skills. So it was suggested na ang pinaka-effective way to give such opportunities is for a school head to create different clubs or organizations within the school. So these clubs are not limited sa pag-improve ng isang skill. Of course, they can include something that can make the students showcase their talents or other capabilities. So this will also create a positive culture as it promotes communication and improves students' other skills. So talagang malaki yung role ng school head sa pag-improve ng ating positive school culture. So for the third one, professional learning. So a specific idea for school heads is to set up professional learning communities for the different subjects in school. So PLC, when structured effectively, can be one of the most powerful forms of professional development. Teachers who are particularly skilled with upcoming PLC topics will serve as discussion leaders. So in relation to the first one that I have mentioned, which is the teacher leadership. So professional learning on the other hand is a powerful tool to promote school culture. So professional learning culture will not only benefit the students or the different communities, but it will also improve teachers' skills as discussion leaders. For example, kada week magkakaroon ng seminar or talk about a certain topic at yung isang teacher na skilled or may expertise sa topic na yon in that week ay pwedeng maging resource speaker for that particular event. So of course, dahil kabisado niya na yung topic or marami na siyang naaral niya na yung topic, it will be easier for him or her to discuss it. Additionally, magbe-benefit din siya since learning is still continuous. Thus, making the students, community, and others benefit and achieve positive school culture. So the said talk ay pwedeng parent seminar, pwedeng teacher trainings and such that will help anyone or everyone. So for the fourth one, we have here the community engagement. So when the community is involved, the culture of the school shifts to one of inclusive ownership. Building strategic partnerships with community businesses and organizations can benefit school culture. So in community engagement naman, it was mentioned in the previous modules that it is important to build engagement outside the school as it will also affect the institution and the individuals inside it. So partnering in organizations or partnering with organizations and private sectors will be a powerful tool to create a good image or perception outside the school. So through this, magkakaroon din ng benefits yung ibang students and their families na in need of help, especially financially. Meron ding nag-o-offer ng free tuition fees, lalo na sa mga lalo na yung mga private sectors. And of course, this also reinforces volunteerism as it engages people. So yun nga, yung community outside. An example is yung PTA, which composes of parents that dedicate themselves to be volunteers for the improvement of their child's school environment na talaga namang big factor when it comes to positive school culture. So that's the four foundational ways to create a positive school culture. So again, the first one is teacher leadership. The second one is student opportunities, professional learning, and community engagement. So takeaways. So school culture is not created by the school head only. It is created by all the people in school. So importante yung role ng school head, but importante din yung role ng students, teachers, and other staff members ng institution. So also, school culture is about personality and values. And the second one, school climate is relational, while school culture is a deeper level of reflection of shared values, beliefs, and tradition. So school climate naman is all about attitude and mood. So building positive school culture is vital as it will affect the students' learning outcome. So again, there are 4 ways to create positive school culture. Teacher leadership is engaging teachers to programs that will help them hone and let their skills grow, while student opportunities naman is making the institution student-centered and providing opportunities for students to grow. And the third one is professional learning. It is conjunction with teacher leadership and they have the same goals, letting the teachers grow as well as the students. And lastly is the community engagement that promotes partnerships and volunteerism. So these are my references. And thank you so much. And if you have questions, please chat it in our chat box and we'll try to answer it later. Thank you so much.
I appreciate your insightful discourse, Ms. Garcia, especially on how to create a positive school culture to facilitate learning. I know that our teachers who are watching and listening right now have some compliments and questions that they want to relay to our speaker. So don't worry, because later on, our speaker will be given enough time to grace us the replies to that.
Okay. Okay, are all of you tuning in right now? So kindly tap the like button for us to know who's still with us. Thank you. To give us some energy, let's hype up to Miss Iya, who will grace us with her talent.
Wow, that is for sure a great talent. I am sure everyone has been hyped up. So let us proceed on giving you guys an exciting part of the webinar.
Our second speaker also agreed to grace us with her expertise on the said topic for the second time around. She finished Science, Technology, and Engineering in her junior high from San Jose National High School. She took Humanities and Social Science in her senior high school and a second-year student of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English at PUP Santa Mesa. She is none other than Miss Blessy Faye Maranan. Let's give her a virtual clap, please.
Thank you, our lovely MCs, for that wistful introduction. Hello there, PSN and T1N. How was the first part of our webinar today? Are you still alive and kicking? Okay, that's great. I can now see your smiles. All right, and I also hope that you enjoyed the intermission number earlier. And not to waste your precious time, and without further ado, we are now going to hop in to the next topic of today's webinar. And that is the role of school culture in learning. Since you are all students and it's under PUP community, how would you describe the culture within your university? Even before you entered PUP, there is a culture where you were influenced of your previous school. Do you still remember it? Well, spending more than a decade in education, we all have certain norms or values that we carry as we grow and continue with the chapters of our lives. Some parts of what we used to be still lives inside of us. Do you believe it? So talking about the school culture, it is the character of a school that gives the school qualities beyond its structured resources and practices. It is created by all the people in the school. So this includes the utility staff, even the bodyguards, of course, our parents, students, as well as teachers. It is not inherited and so is not passed on through the genes. So we get this culture by experience, by having live interactions with all the people in the school. Under this topic, we are going to talk about the elements of a positive culture. Because who would like to experience a bad atmosphere or a bad aura inside of school? So in order for us to have and maintain the positive culture, we should take note of this. First is collegiality. So the school should have an atmosphere that is friendly, welcoming to all the people. So meaning even we do have these differences, we have different personalities, we should, spread kindness to everyone, be welcoming, because it is better to have a community wherein you could express yourself without being judged. And that is for collegiality. Another one is experimentation. So in here, we welcome as well mistakes as part of the learning process. No student, no teachers gets punished for a mistake because mistakes are not intended. So there is this saying that if you do not commit mistake, your life is already perfect. Like there is nothing to improve anymore. But since we are all imperfect, we need mistake as our stepping stone to have the guide and also that correction that we need in our lives. And Thomas Edison once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that didn't work." Meaning, it's okay to have multiple mistakes as long as it is not intended. These mistakes could actually help us to make ourselves better than before. Setting high expectations can lead to high achievements. Of course, it has been said that one's level of achievement is always lower than one's level of aspiration. So set high expectations for high achievements. And when we do have these high expectations in ourselves, we do actually put pressure. And when we put pressure on ourselves, we are being challenged. And those people that had a lot of challenges in their lives were made strong by those obstacles in their lives. And of course, that is one way also for us to learn from. Like setting these high expectations can give us high level of attainment. And it could also help us improve our quality of work. Giving trust and confidence to someone is one noble way for us to make them feel that they are appreciated. Like if someone would tell me that they trust me, that I am worthy of their trust, I will feel great. I will feel valued because having this kind of trust is something that we gain from having this kind of friendship with others, and also by spreading generosity to them as well. So if we do have this trust with another people, it also means that we have this honest and open communication with them. Like we are not afraid to tell them everything that is bothering us or what we do have in our mind. And if a person has this confidence, he can work well. And that is what we want, right? That is what we look forward to have this confidence among ourselves to work and to accomplish something for the better. Giving tangible support to someone is also one of the good characteristics of a positive culture. Support comes not just in words, but in action. For example, the school head sees to it that LCDs in the classrooms are functioning. In other words, the school head is responsible for maintaining or providing the facilities for the students. And that is also a good and nice trait of a school culture. Giving tangible support is also being an encouragement to others. So it's just, a matter of a simple tap on the shoulder, giving hug to your classmates, or even sending a letter to your teacher. And that is something that someone would also appreciate. Reaching out to the knowledge base is something. Reaching out to the knowledge base is what teachers should have thirst of, because we teachers care to grow professionally, to update ourselves on content knowledge and pedagogy. And this is something that we should be reminded of. Like we are continuously learning in our field. We are continuously growing in our profession. So this is the first domain in the Philippine professional standards for teachers. Teachers care to grow professionally in a way that they can provide a better service to all the students and of course to our school. And by this, we can attend seminars or meetings and do our own researches on how to improve the quality of our teaching. And also, it gives us a heads up on being updated for the changes of the educational system. Appreciation and recognition is certainly something that we do love to receive, right? Who wouldn't want appreciation from someone? Of course, we do love to receive those appreciation and recognition. Certainly, words of appreciation and recognition makes the classroom climate highly favorable. A reminder to teachers, you are not made less when you praise others. Instead, you become magnanimous. So don't be stingy with your sincere praise. The problem sometimes is our eyes are so quick to see the negative, and so we despise them immediately, but our eyes are blinded to the good, and so we overlook them and fail to appreciate. So it is important as well for us, future teachers, to appreciate our students, to give recognition. If we do see that they have this little improvement, why not give them a round of applause or give them some words of encouragement? And also, making our classrooms mood highly favorable will also lift up the mood of the students. And that is the best thing that a teacher can do in his teaching journey. Next element of a positive culture is caring, celebration, and humor. So with this kind of setup, you could actually feel that someone is concerned with you. And celebrating some kind of achievement as well is also a way of saying that you are valued, you are appreciated, you are loved. And that is also healthy when it comes to a school environment. And of course, having this kind of humor, like there is some kind of jokes that makes us laugh or burst our laughter. It feels so good to laugh with one another, to share some good vibes and uplift each other's spirit. Sharing these kinds of stuffs will absolutely make the school attain positive culture. Another element of a positive culture is the involvement in decision making. So if someone is involved in making a decision, it gives a connotation that his idea is something that we also need to hear, or something that is very important. And by that, the person also feels important. And by this, it enhances the person's sense of ownership. One example of this that I had when I was in high school is, the plans of having a JS prom. Of course, us students would want that to happen, but sadly, the administration didn't agree on that part. We didn't have the JS prom when we were on our 9th grade, and we were so sad about that. So with that, without having the involvement in the decision making, even in school programs, even the students should have a voice about it. Meaning, the students have their own thinking mind. And if the students feel that they are not heard, they feel neglected. That is a negative impact on their part. So since we teachers are stewards of our students, we are responsible for guiding them in making a decision. Protection of what is important is what we carry, not just by our mind, but by our heart. So this is something that we always need to be reminded of. For example, the school's mission and vision. We maybe have memorized all the words or the paragraphs of our mission and vision, but there is a difference between memorizing and practicing what is inside of it. So with the mission and vision, it is important that we know what is the purpose and the value of the content of what we speak and what we memorize, so that when we continue with our teaching journey, we can have this kind of peace in our heart that we are following or abiding our school's mission and vision. And that is also the same thing with our school rules and regulation. So it helps people around the school to maintain its peace and orderliness within the campus. A school must have an intentional culture-based program on shared values, beliefs, and behaviors. So that is under our tradition here. So this strengthens a sense of community, A truly positive school culture is not characterized simply by the absence of gangs, violence, or discipline problems, but also by the presence of a set of norms and values that focus the school and community's attention on what is most important and motivate them to work hard toward a common purpose. So with the traditions, it is way beyond of the absence of the negative factors around the school. So in here, we do also practice to have a sense of commemoration of what our forefathers have also passed to us or bestowed to us. One example of intentional culture-based program is our Buwan ng Wika every month of August. So there, the traditions and all the stuffs that we have as Filipino were included, like the wearing of the barat saya for the girls and then barong for the boys, and also these girls as well used to wear slippers. We call it bakya, and for the boys, they do also have this camisa de chino. These are parts of our traditions. And open communication is absolutely healthy for a student-teacher relationship or a student-to-student relationship, because you share your ideas, you share your thoughts without having this kind of a violent reaction with someone, or it gives the other person the heads up of what you are feeling or what is the impact of your action within the school. The atmosphere is such that everyone is encouraged to speak their mind without fear of being ostracized or being left out. So the agreement at every discussion is to agree or disagree. So this is something also that gives a person a voice to the situation inside the school. Shared norms of the teacher and the student are introduced by Boss and Larmer. So they have this list of teacher norms and student norms that will contribute to a fair and unengaging learning environment in the school. So it is also related to the positive school culture. And we are going to look onto this on the next slide. So under the teacher norms, we see here that the teachers should teach in different ways. And that is correct. Because if a teacher will be stagnant in giving this information and, very, very monotonous, or, there's no excitement and no thrilling part in the way he teach, it would actually turn off the students. So teaching in a different ways will help also the teacher to improve his teaching skills, to have some techniques and improve strategies to approach the students. And also, under the teacher norms, he should call students by their names. And she is a grade 9 teacher, and I was grade 7 before when I dreamed of her becoming my teacher. And when I reached my grade 9th level, she became a teacher. And whenever she calls me by my first name, first name basis is, it gives a different vibe, different level of closeness, and that really made my heart melt. And that's why calling the students by their names could actually make the student feel appreciated, and it's also something that we want to have, that our teacher will be remembering our names. So the teachers should care about students' feelings, be able to understand their situation, and that is really important because we do have this diverse community wherein not everyone has this accessibility to these things, and some people who wouldn't have this kind of stuff. And it's important for a teacher to also be considerate of the others so that no one will be left out. A teacher should have a good attitude. Stay calm, use kind words, have patience, greet students, and say goodbye. So have you had experience with a teacher who is always, nagging, or someone who always spit bad words to their students? And, it gives a negative connotation, or, a negative energy around the classroom. So in order for us to maintain the positive culture, we should have, as future teachers, a good attitude, a good approach, and, we should only speak kind words. And if we are going to correct our students, we should do it in a nice way. Do you agree? Mhm. As a future teacher, we should also help our students understand, work at a reasonable pace, explain clearly, support different learning styles, and expect the best, and re-explain if necessary. So this is one of the most vital part of teaching, because not everyone has this level or has this capacity of thinking. Some has, we do not belittle them, but we have this kind of slow learners that needs to have this special guide in order for them as well to level up their knowledge in a certain subject. By this, we should be careful, and also we should also be aware of the time frame that we are going to implement in a classroom learning setup, because some of the schedules, we do have this a 2-hour class. If we're going to share information to our students that is very repetitive and doesn't excite them, or doesn't gets them interested with the topic, we are only wasting time here. It is important that we should be explaining things clearly to them, and if we could make it more interactive, more livelier, more funnier, if we could, we should also give them this kind of teaching style, a varying teaching style as well. And it could also help us to improve. And next is, of course, attend school the majority of the time. And by that, it means that our presence as future teachers is very necessary. And now that we are students, when we have this professor that doesn't come in our class, doesn't meet us, we feel very far from him or her, right? So it's important for us to let our presence be felt by our students, so that they will also know that we are concerned of them and we do check on them as well. Next is be respectful, gives everyone what they need, use proper language, allow space if needed, and use supportive words when explaining. Call by your name. Yes, that is also important. And with our workmates, we should also be respectful. If they have this preference, we should just leave them alone. Like, let's give them the time that they want. And also, if someone needs to be comforted, let's bring them the comfort that they need, so that we could also lift each other up. And by being respectful, it means that we should give someone the space that they need. Next is have a growth mindset. So this is something that is also relatable to the previous points that we have, which is the continuous learning as a teacher. So yeah, so with this, we should also improve our thinking in a way that we should be updated with what is happening around us, so that we could also have this kind of connection to our students. I understand you. I have this kind of concern for you. So have a growth mindset. So that is also for our students' norms. Have a growth mindset. Believe that you can improve, fall forward, keep trying, speak positively about your abilities to learn. So yes, that is important. So the students should also have this kind of mindset, so that they could also have this kind of improvement, that they could be better on their own craft. And yes, call their classmates by their names. So we do not encourage teasing or name callings that are very offensive. That is a no-no. So for the students, they should be someone who is nice to other classmates so that they could have happy environment inside the class. And the student must be responsible for his work, and they should have these materials ready and advocate for themselves or have a professional they should be meeting the deadlines. So if there's the due date that is due tomorrow, they should have started earlier so that they could actually pass their work. And that is something that a student should take note of. So being collaborative, participating in the class is also great, and being on time to the class is commendable. Yep, so a student should also listen to the teacher, to their classmates, to the guests, and to the direction. So that is important, because if they will listen to their teachers, to their classmates, they are also giving themselves a chance to learn. So yep, so it is important for them as well to attend the school the majority of the time, because if they will miss a lesson, it's very risky for them as well, because they missed a chance to learn one topic. So it's important to attend the school majority of the time. And for being a student, it is necessary for them to be a good team player, provide good, helpful feedback, stay calm, encourage others, and stay on the topic, be considerate, or use proper language, or communicate clearly to all the students and the teachers. So these are the teacher norms and student norms that we have here. And to proceed with our takeaways, school culture is a character of a school that gives the school qualities beyond its structured resources and practices. It is created by all the people in the school, and it is not inherited and so not passed on through the genes. So we do get this school culture within the campus, and that is what we actually build upon having live interactions with all the people. School culture includes school climate, and so school culture is broader than school climate. School climate is relational, while school culture is a deeper level of reflection of shared values, beliefs, and traditions. Undoubtedly, school culture affects learning, and so school must by all means build positive, not toxic school culture. Do you agree with our last point? If you do agree, I want you to press the heart emoji button. Okay, thank you for your participation for today's webinar. Once again, this is Blessy, and I hope that you enjoyed this part of our webinar. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ms. Maranan, for another meaningful discourse. And we truly have gained so much knowledge from you, especially the essence of this distinguishing a positive school culture from negative school culture. And also, it is based on the elements and norms being discussed by you that students and teachers, or rather school staffs, should observe, foster, and to practice.
Yes, as we previously stated, the speakers will have time to respond to the questions you may have in mind, and that is right now. The moment has come for the question and answer portion.
All right, the very first question is meant to be addressed by our first speaker, Ms. Garcia, and it is as per the request of the sender. The question is, how can you reinforce positive school culture in your future institution or classroom as a future educator?
First, gagamitin ko yung mga natutunan ko sa habang nag-aaral pa, lalo na sa subject na to, which is yung nagbigay ng idea sa akin na may mga kailangan i-consider na mga bagay kapag naging teacher ka na. And of course, makikinig din ako sa mga co-workers ko or co-teachers ko na mas matagal na sa larangan or mas matagal na sa field ng pagtuturo. And of course, makikinig din ako sa mga students, sa kanilang mga ideas. And of course, makikilahok ako sa programs na ginagawa ng or ino-organize ng school, especially ng school head. And of course, mahalaga rin na mag-observe ka sa paligid mo and makisama sa mga taong nakakasalamuha mo, ano man yan, student man yan, co-teachers, other staff, members ng institution, and everyone inside the school. And mahalaga rin yung makipag-engage ka sa community outside. So, as a future educator, alam ko na I will consider many things na makakapag-reinforce ng positive school culture, and handa akong gawin yung lahat just to make everyone para din sa kapakanan or sa kabutihan ng lahat inside the school. So that's all.
Okay, so thank you for that wonderful reply. So for the second question, it will be for Ms. Maranan to be answered. And the question is, how would school culture affect learning?
Thank you for raising that beautiful question. And to answer that, when a student knows that the learning environment is safe and all the people around him is so supportive and friendly, they accomplish something great. They meet their curricular benchmarks faster and they gain more substance from their learning outcomes. So if you're happy with the people around you, of course, it gives you a positive impact. And that is what positive culture is, to motivate people, to give everyone a chance to do better in their learning journey.
Thank you so much again to our two great speakers who easily accepted the offer to grace us with their expertise in their discussion and by answering the questions. It is without a doubt that we got to experience the most exciting part of the webinar because of your wonderful talks. Right, Teacher Rhea?
Surely, partner, because what should be the most exciting part of the webinar if it's not because of the opportunity of getting to learn and to have something to reflect on?
Totally agree with that. And as for the certificate or token of appreciation, please accept the certificate of acknowledgement for your significant contribution to the webinar EDUKultura, creating a positive school culture as our way of expressing our very sincere gratitude.
Yes. So from Polytechnic University of the Philippines, College of Education, Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English, the teacher and the community school culture and organizational leadership, this certificate of recognition is hereby awarded to Ms. Maria Alexandra May Garcia for being the presenter during the successful conduct of the webinar entitled EDUKultura, Creating a Positive School Culture, given this first day of July 2022 via Zoom, signed by our subject teacher, Dr. Rosalie A. Corpus, and our class presidents, Emeline B. Sulima. And also, another certificate of recognition is hereby awarded to Blessy Faye B. Maranan for also being the presenter during the successful conduct of the webinar entitled EDUKultura, Creating a Positive School Culture, given this first day of July 2022 via Zoom, also signed by our subject teacher, Dr. Rosalie A. Corpus, and our class president, Emerlyn B. Sulima. As a token of appreciation to our dear participants who actively listen to the talks, let me present to you this certificate hereby awarded to everyone for having actively participated in the webinar entitled EDUKultura, Creating a Positive School Culture, given this first day of July 2022 via Zoom, and also again signed by our subject teacher, Dr. Rosalie A. Corpus, and our class president, Emeline B. Sulima. So, to wrap up, I would like to invite Ms. Shanley Bella Santos back to deliver us her final remark.
All right, I think that's it. Thank you so much, guys, for staying up until the end of this webinar. I hope you enjoyed our topic, and I hope you guys learned anything. I mean, did you learn anything? If you do, please comment it down on the bottom of this video, or you could comment or chat it on our chat box. Let us know what are your takeaways for our topic. Again, I'm Shani Bella Santos, and you have a great day, everyone. Stay safe.
Yes, your kind words are very much appreciated, Ms. Shanley. We are overjoyed that our second webinar was a success yet again. We also want to express our thanks to Ma'am Rosalie Corpus for allowing us to host our webinar and give her a certificate of appreciation. So this certificate of recognition is hereby given to Dr. Rosalie Corpus for being the pillar of BS Event 21N in the conduct of the webinar series on her subject, the teacher and the community, school culture and organizational leadership, given the same day in July 2022 via Zoom, signed by our Group 5 leader, Marilyn Quiapo, and our class president, Emerlyn B. Sulima.
Thank you once more, Ma'am Corpus, and we're happy that everyone in this room has picked up new knowledge from the presenters. And marking the end of the webinar, we will send the evaluation form. Please don't forget to complete that out on or before the specified deadline. Thanks again, and good day, everyone. And to wrap up this webinar, we will end this by playing the PUP hymn.